Today we're talking about making money and making money passively. Actual passive income. So that means no real estate, no Amazon drop shipping, no stocks, no gimmicks. Real passive income. Specifically high yield and savings accounts, and this is probably the only thing I can think of that makes you money without much effort, if any at all. And it's not something that's too good to be true. It's something that I do myself. I've been doing for a while now, and the money comes in and I don't have to do nothing. I think it's important that we're clear on what exactly passive income is, because a lot of people want passive income, especially without that high barrier of entry, right? You want some money coming in without doing too much work that's taken away from your daily life, but still brings out like a decent return to you. And if you go online and you ask Investopedia what is passive income, it's going to say the opposite of active income. Well, of course. And it's also going to say income that requires minimum effort to obtain, and gives an example of passive income includes earnings derived from a rental property. And I don't exactly agree. Now, as much as I love real estate, if you're new here, my name is Jalil. I own a few rental properties out in New York and other states as well. And rental properties are anything but passive and require a lot more than minimal effort, regardless of the situation. Regardless of that property is New York, down south, if it's a single family, a multifamily, whether you have a property manager or not, it is going to require more effort than a high yield and savings account would be. Now, could you generate more money from it? Of course, but it's definitely not passive. I think passive income is super important. I think we all deserve some form of passive income, especially when we spend so much time at our 9-to-5s. It would be nice to have something that comes in without putting out too much effort and distracts us from whatever else we're doing regarding our actual work life, personal life, or social life. So I think passive income is something that everyone can and should have. It just should really actually be passive. Let's dive into the example that Investopedia gave as far as rental income being some form of passive income. Now, from getting qualified to purchase the property, to renovating the property, to screening tenants, to hiring a property manager, to doing any sort of renovations, to managing these tenants, to making sure that you get paid on time, dealing with the city if this tenant has a government assistance program, all of those things take a lot more than minimum effort to maintain this rental property. So this isn't something that I would consider passive whatsoever. Maybe in the future it becomes a lot less of a struggle as you implement systems in place to, make it streamlined, but it's not really passive income. Passive income, in my idea, is something that you could almost set it and forget it and not have to think about it on a daily, weekly, or even monthly basis. And the thing about not just real estate, but the other businesses that they claim to be passive, such as Amazon drop shipping, things like that, it doesn't compare to a high yield and savings account, because with a high yield and savings account, there's no startup cost. It's just the money that you had anyway. You don't have to buy equipment. You don't have to get a domain name. You don't have to open up an LLC. It's simply just loading the money into an account. That's it. So to me, that's the definition of passive and minimal effort. Let's get right into it. Think about high yield and savings account as your typical checking or savings account that you have at your traditional bank. The only main difference is there's no physical location for you to go and pull money out, and you get more interest in return since it's only an online platform. I'm going to go into details as far as which ones are my favorites later in the video, but that's generally the main difference. Essentially, it's still just a regular savings account, except you get paid more. Unlike the big branch banks, the online savings account, they don't have the overhead of a physical location, which means that they don't have to pay rent, they don't have to pay for office equipment, they don't have to pay for staff to clean the building, they don't have to pay for staff in period when it comes to a physical location. So in return, they're able to offset that expense and give it back to you, the consumer. What's great as well is that these online high yielding savings accounts, they're FDIC insured the same way the big banks that you know with the physical locations are insured. The only difference is instead of getting that measly 0.01% APY, you could get close to 4% when it comes to the online savings account. All right, so let's talk about who this will benefit the most, because it's not for everyone. So if you're of the mindset that you want to get rich overnight, then it's not for you. Don't waste your time. You could probably do something better with your time that will make you a lot more money. If you're of the mindset that you would rather put in more hours to get a greater return, then this is also not for you, because you can do more work and probably make more money. Now, if you're someone who is saving for a house or a car and you don't plan on touching this money anyway, then I suggest you open an account like this, because you'll still have the same amount of money, except you'll earn more interest on that money that's not doing anything anyway until you buy that house or the car. If you're someone who has a 9-to-5, or you have your own business and you're already busy and you don't have time to look at stocks or to manage tenants, then this may be an avenue that you should approach, where you can have some money coming in without doing any work whatsoever at all. Also, if you're someone who already has a house or car and you're saving for the long term, then this is something that you can look into as well, because that means you won't be touching the money for the near future. So you can just let it grow and continue to compound that interest month over month over month, especially if the money's just gonna be sitting there anyway. All right, so let me show you some of my favorite accounts and how much you can earn with these online high yield and savings accounts. Now you should do your own research, of course, and pick whichever one that works for you the best, but these are the ones that I've grown to like over the years based on the user interface or just the APY that they offer. All right, so first up, this is the Wealthfront account. As you can see, this goes back to February of 2022. It goes back further than that, but just for this example, in February, interest is 80 cents alone, right? Now, if you remember, the interest rate was really low during that time, which is why the APY was low at this time as well. And as we approach recession, or we're in recession, depending on who you ask, when interest rates raise, the interest rate and what you're returning, the return you get on these accounts also increase, which means you make more money depending on how much money you have in these accounts. So if we fast forward to March, $1.25, April, $1.85, in May, $4.19. That's when the interest rates really started to take a major jump up. $5.84, $7.94, $10.88, $11, $13. Then some money was deposited in there because obviously you wouldn't capitalize on the increase in rates. So that means you earn more money as well, especially if that money is just sitting there, like I said before. Then you're talking $23 and $28. Now imagine, and that $28 was in January. Now imagine $28 for doing what you would have done anyway, especially if you were saving this money for a future purchase and it was just sitting there. It's better to get this $28, $30 than to get a penny from whatever bank you would get, and that's offering 0.01% interest rate. Especially, you're gonna do the same thing with the money anyway, so why not have it in an account that can generate a lot more money? And if you have, you know, 10,000, 20,000, whatever you have sitting around, it's better to get, even if it's $1, $2, something on it, versus holding it in the bank that's not giving you anything. And in case you didn't know, what the banks do is they give your money out to other people to make money off of your money. So when you give your money to the bank and they hold it, they give you that interest rate as a thank you because they're using your money to make money for them. So all the money that they have in the bank, they may loan it to someone else to obtain a mortgage, and they get paid off the interest off the mortgage, and they get paid off the fees. Meanwhile, you're not getting much return because the interest rate is only 0.01%. Although I like Wealthfront, it's a great app. My favorite happens to be Marcus by Goldman Sachs. Their APY is a little bit less than Wealthfront. Right now, Marcus is offering 3.3 and Wealthfront is offering 3.8 at the time of this video. But I like Marcus better because they tend to be a little bit less volatile than Wealthfront. So if we go back in February, just to give a fair comparison, it's the same thing. I don't have as much money, less than $1,000 in this account, but I'm getting 15 cents, 17 cents, 18 cents, and it's just continue to increase over time to the point now I'm getting $1 each month. And listen, $1 may not be a lot of money, but it's $1 more than I would have gotten if I kept it into a big bank that wasn't giving me much of an APY anyway. So I'll take it, and then I could always put more money into this account to generate more income. And if I had put this money into something like the stock market, which I do have money in the stock market, but the stock market is going down right now. The stock market isn't the best investment right now based on the current economic cycle. But I could earn some money or offset that loss by having some money in these high yield and savings account, money that I wasn't going to use anyway. Now, there are some cons to having a high yield and savings account. Specifically, you don't have that one-on-one, or you could go to a physical branch and just talk to someone about your account if you need to. It's online. They do have some of them do have contact phone numbers or emails, and in my experience, it has been difficult to reach out to someone or get a response. But if you're of the type where you need to get access to someone immediately, then this may not be for you. Another con may be it takes 2 to 3 business days if you wanted to withdraw your money from one of these accounts. Now, for me, that's not a long time, especially if you don't plan on using the money anyway. But for some people, they may not want to wait those 2 to 3 business days. I'm of the mindset that if you need your money that urgently, then you're probably not saving correctly to begin with, and you should probably reorganize your budget. You're either saving too much or you're spending too much, which is why you need to get access to that money that quickly. Then this may not be the account for you because because it does take 2 to 3 business days, which is not a lot in the grand scheme of things anyway. Now, I believe for 2023, this is going to be a great way to get some passive income without doing much, if any, work at all, specifically for this year and going into next year. While the economy is sort of in a downturn and rates are still high, this is a moment you could capitalize off these high yield savings account. When the economy gets better, and it will, these accounts won't generate as much profits as they do now, which is why I say you take advantage of it in this moment. Let me know what you think. Is this something that you're willing to do? If not, why? And which app do you think will be your favorite? So, you know, some of my favorites: Marcus, Wealthfront, Ally. I think those are some great apps. Or if you know of other high yield savings account, drop it in the comments below, and I'll see you in this video.